Um, yes. So, and thank you so much for welcoming me to be here and to explain some of the resources that we have available and talk about 3D printing. So, I will go ahead and dive into 3D printing. So Makerbot has been in the 3D printing world in schools for many years, about 8 years, and it's progressed as far as use and the amount of devices being used in schools. And so here is where we're kind of at today. The left image with the little girl. This is kind of the expression of teachers that when they get 3D printers, there's different various types of 3D printers, and some of them have little to no support from the manufacturers, and so it can be overwhelming for them. And there's also little to no PD to help the educators implement these into their classroom, and there's usually no management console to manage all of these. So it just kind of, they're trying their best to implement this as with whatever they have. And then on the right side, with the gentleman juggling, this is kind of the tech department, as they're already jumbling all these different types of technology and adding a 3D printer, especially when there's different manufacturers in there. It can be overwhelming, especially when there's one that needs to be serviced and not having that training available. It can be very overwhelming. So I'm going to talk about how to help educators and the tech department find the resources that are going to be available for you, that you guys are not alone, and we want to help make sure that your 3D printing is successful in your classrooms. But the first thing I want to ask is, what do you find to be the biggest hurdle of implementing 3D printing? So I have a mentee here. If you can go to menti.com and use that code, I'm just curious to see what the responses are, because there's a couple of them that are usually the key ones that I hear, but I'm curious to hear your guys's. Oh,
There we go.
okay, perfect. So here are some of the responses that we had. Cost, knowing projects to introduce, choosing a printer, printing time of projects, knowing how to use the 3D printer, knowing which printer to buy, printing time of projects, learning how to use it in lessons. Okay, all great, great responses, and we should go over all of those today. So let's go ahead and dive into the first one, which is cost. So Makerbot has done a great job in every year we try to we release a grant guide, and what is included in this grant guide is all of the different grants how to that you guys would be able to apply for, and we also help you to get those answers and responses to get those grants and how to write the grant, so that you guys will be able to get that, get that funds. So that's the hurdle for funds, is we got the resource for you to help get you guys some of those funds. And just so that everyone knows too, I do have a resource page that everything that I go through here, all of the grant guides and the resources, I will send out, and you guys will have access to all of this. But in case you guys wanted to get it now, we have it on our website, makerbot.com. On the far right, we have a resource tab. And if you go to the education, all of the stuff will also be there. We also have the Makerbot Educator's Guidebook, and all of these resources, the grant guide and the Educator's Guidebook, we have it in a free PDF form. We do have copies available at a cost for the hard copy, but the PDF version is free. And what the PDF of the Educator's Guidebook is going to do is give you an introduction to 3D printing. It's also going to have some amazing projects with the difficulty and levels on there. So if you're just starting out with 3D printing, we will walk you through step by step of like the different softwares like Tinkercad, Autodesk. If you're more advanced, there's all different sorts of lessons on there as you progress with 3D printing. And let me go to the next slide, sorry. And then we also have webinar resources. So one of them was how do you, the hurdles is how to implement this into your classroom, into your lesson plans. Well, we have webinars once a month, sometimes even more, of different ways of how you can use 3D printing in the classroom. So these are just some examples here. And there's setting up students for 3D printing, how to integrate AR and 3D printing. There's also teachers' tips and tricks. So who knows, once you guys become 3D printing rock stars, maybe we can feature one of you guys on our webinars. And that's where we really try to get educators on our webinars. So that way you have peers speaking of how they're using their 3D printer to really enhance their lesson plans and make it more relevant for you guys in the classroom. We also have over 600 lesson plans readily available. So no matter what you're teaching, and if you're not a designer or know how to design, you don't need to know how to design. We have a community platform called Thingiverse, and it's thingiverse.com/education. And there you would just select the subject, the grade level, and then all of these different lesson plans would pop up, and it walks you through step by step. And then it has the files that you would just be able to go and click and print the files. So great resource. And all of these lesson plans are for free. And even if you don't have a Makerbot, you can still use these files. So nothing is tied specifically to one printer or the other. These are all readily available. And then we also have a trends report. So this is great for, as you're also writing these grants or as you're thinking about how you can use these 3D printers in your classroom. This gives great insight of what your peers are doing nationwide in other states and what they found to be more, more valuable. In a sense of how to use it. These are just key findings here of that teaching STEM subjects during the pandemic was not much different than prior years. Respondents look for reliability and ease of use in their printers. So good information. I think there was somebody that said, knowing which printer to buy. Well, this one right here is very interesting because it looks like what a lot of educators are looking for when they're looking to buy printers is the ones that are going to be reliable and easy to use. So that kind of gives you a context of yourself. If you're just starting out with 3D printing, well, ease of use and reliability would be your key things as you're looking for a 3D printer. And then, so just some great information in this. It'll be in the links in there so you can kind of dive deep into it, and really great information tied to it. And the next thing I wanted to go over is, so if anyone here has a sketch printer or even our old Replicator Plus, they come with certifications, teacher certifications. But if you've bought in if they've purchased or received a Sketch Classroom, it comes with it. And these certifications, I'm going to go in a little bit more detail, but they're so crucial in helping you as an educator, holding your hand of the whole process of 3D printing, of where to go to get those lesson plans in Thingiverse and how to connect it, all of that. And it comes with it. So if you've received one and you don't know where the code's at, and it's lost in the shuffle, which I hear a lot, no worries. We can get you another code. So all you would need to do is, if you need an additional code, you would just go to our support site, which is support.makerbot.com, and just put in, we have a chat feature on there. So you would just hit the chat and ask them to provide another code that you've lost your code. They'll ask you for the serial number for the printer that you have, and then they'll reissue a code, and then you can begin to have access to those certifications because they do come with it. So just the 2 teacher certifications and the 10 students. And then for the Sketch Large and Sketch Large Classroom, there's some in there as well. So these are available readily, for you guys to use. We just want to make sure that you guys are aware of it and can use those. Because these certifications, they're very helpful, like I was saying. And I wanted to interject real quick. I know Lisa's had the opportunity to, look at the certification. So Lisa, would you just be able to give us a quick recap of your feedback of the certification?
Yeah, I sure can. What I like about the certification, because learning about 3D printing, this is a new journey I'm on. And yeah, some of you may know some of my colleagues, they're really into 3D printing. And I just needed to sit down, go step by step for my own learning to go through this. Yeah, I know what I've been told, but I just needed the hands on myself and to go through that. And that's what this certification has allowed me to do. I'm still working on it. So still have a little ways to go on my journey about learning about 3D printing. But the main thing that I've learned so far is you have to have a purpose of using these 3D printers. And why I wanted to get into 3D printing is printing things out for the microbit. There's a holder out there that I found a file that I can just print. Well, I needed to understand how to print, and I just didn't want to put the file and throw it to print. I wanted to understand the behind the scenes, and I tried to do that before this certification. And this certification has really allowed me to grow in what I am learning about 3D printing. So Kylie, thank you so much. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Matt. So this is the certification. Let me see if I can start back at the beginning. So it's the Makerbot operator for Sketch. And again, like Kylie was saying earlier, that you will get a code to go through the certification yourself. There is the educator side of the certification, and then Kylie can talk more about the student side of the certification. But I just go up here to the top of my screen and go to Explore. And here, this is the Makerbot operator for Sketch. If I scroll down here, then here's the introduction. It kind of gives you some background to what is 3D printing. And then at the end of each of these modules, there's like a short assessment. And again, it's nothing too stressful, that it's for your own good to kind of assess and self-reflect. Are you learning this and understanding what you're learning? And as you can see here on the screen, printer basics. So I'll just keep scrolling down here to see the different modules. So at the end of each module, there's an assessment. And then it goes into the Thingiverse and 3D modeling. That's one thing that I'm wanting to learn more about, because I don't, yeah, I know how to send a file and get it to print, but I've never created anything with any software to send it to print. So I'm interested to learn more about that. And then, as you can see, keep scrolling down. It looks like there's 7 challenges in the operator review packet, and then an exam. So as you can see, I haven't reached the exam part of this. That is for the Makerbot operator sketch. And then if I go back, you can see there's one for the Replicator Plus. And then if you keep scrolling down, the design thinking, applied design thinking, and I think I went, let's see, was there another one I skipped? And then even the curriculum creator. So when you get to that point in your on your journey here. So it looks like Kylie's back with us, so I can stop sharing. And Kylie, I just went ahead and shared my screen and showed them, went into a little bit more depth of the certification.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry, guys. I am just having bandwidth issues. So let's see here. So like what Lisa was talking about, so there's different modules that are in there. And here's kind of a breakdown of how many hours you would take in there. So this is obviously, educators are, overwhelmed with other things and tasks. So this is a self-paced. As you go, you can come in here if you have a block hour or after school or whatever, and talk with the district as well. They may count this as PD credits. This is what I wanted to make sure and highlight, that if you do have a Makerbot sketch or a Replicator Plus and the older model, please activate this certification, because you guys have access to this. And then the last part that Lisa was talking about, the curriculum creation, there was a response in our earlier question that learning, how to integrate it into lesson plans. This right here, the curriculum creation portion, is designed for that. It's designed to, how can you start creating things that are tangible. If you're teaching about the pyramids, or if you're teaching about animal cells, how can you integrate that into your lesson plan to make it tangible? And that's why that's a little bit longer, because that's going to be more hands-on of actually thinking about it and designing it, or finding it. So great content. It's available. Highly recommend it. You also, just like how Lisa has all of those modules, as the educator, you'll have access to all of these modules as well. But we do have one for students that can go through. We recommend for grades 4 and up. But this is a great way for those students that want to take that extra step into knowing more depth of design thinking. This is great content, and it's self-paced. So even as the educator, if you don't know, the whole process of design thinking, all you would just need to do is facilitate it and let the students go through the course. And then afterwards, the teacher's able to present an opportunity for them to apply the design thinking. So some examples would be, let me see here. So I used an example from, in 4th grade language arts, they're reading Hatchet. And so as the students have gone through the design thinking process, now the teacher is able to say, hey, let's put yourselves in Brian's shoes, and what would, if you were in his position, what would you need to survive in the wilderness if you were Brian, if you were in his shoes? And then that allows the students to get that design thinking process of, well, what would they do and what would they design? And just simple things like that, how you can easily gravitate and get them to start thinking, and also, print something that's tangible that they can go back to and link that information to. It's so crucial. Here's another example of social studies. And then one of my favorite ones is the interactive animal cell. So this is a great way to make, learning animal cells. I was at a conference with a bunch of science teachers, and they were like, this is the best lesson I've ever seen, because this has been one of the most challenging lessons to teach about with animal cells. And what a great way to make it tangible, that they're able to interpret the information and have something to associate it with, and also make it into a game. So different ideas that you'll get through, you'll get going through the certification process. So if you have one, it's available. And we do have add-ons. So if you're looking to, I want to get more than just what comes with it, we do have school site license for 1 year for $800. That's typically the route that districts go through. So it is available to get unlimited students and unlimited teachers access to the certification. And then, so this is pretty much it. We have all of the resources for you. This over the 600 lesson plans, certifications for you guys, educators guidebooks with curriculum and grant guides, all of that, resources that are available, and webinars. And then we have our cloud print and MakerCare support. So that was it. That's all I had. Any questions?
Well, Kylie, I want to add in, people were asking about 3D printing and the time it takes to print the jobs or the designs of the students. And one thing I like about the Makerbot is the camera that it has built in, that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I like that, so that you could have it print overnight, especially if it's a 5 to 8 hour print job. And if you want to check in on it, you can check in on it with the camera that is built in to the Makerbot.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And there are improvements as technology is advancing. We are wanting to put firmwares out there to make the printers faster. But in the interim time, as once that technology advances, that's why we actually started bundling them up, like the Sketch Classroom. So instead of one printer, now you get 2 printers, because that just.
And Lisa, while Kylie's working on this, we did have a question from Christy in the chat, or in the comments, I should say.
Okay.
And maybe you can help with this. Christy asks, is there a cost to the certification program, and do you need a Makerbot to participate? Is that something Kylie should answer, or do you have any insights on that, Lisa?
I've got a few insights.
Okay.
So if you do have a Makerbot to participate, Kylie was talking about, you do get a code to the certification program for free. If you don't have a Makerbot, let's say your school district has other 3D printers and you want to learn, there is, I believe that there's a way that you can go through the certification program, but there is a cost if you do not have a Makerbot. So I don't know if that, does that answer, was that the only 2 questions? Okay. Is there a cost? So I guess there's a cost if you don't have a Makerbot. And then the second question, hopefully, then if you don't, if you have a different 3D printer, then you would, cost for the certification program. But if you do have a Makerbot, there should have been a code that came with it. And again, if Kylie says, if someone previously bought it and you don't know where the code is anymore, you can reach out and under support for Makerbot for them to get you signed up for the certification program. So
Now,
great questions, Christy.
Yeah, thanks, Christy. Now, Lisa, did you say that you have kind of looked over the certification the Makerbot certification?
I'm in it right now.
Okay. So from what you've seen so far, are some of the activities that you've seen, some of the information you've seen in that program, would it be sort of be universal then? Something that could help you no matter what 3D printer you happen to have access to?
I believe so. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't worked with a lot of different 3D printers out there. I'm just starting my journey, but,
Mhm.
just learning some of the terminology with 3D printing has helped.
Great, great. Okay, so Kylie's back. Hi, Kylie. Welcome back. We did have, yeah, and you'll see up in the corner, this is a live webinar, so anything can happen, folks. Anything can happen. So we did have a question that Lisa was answering from Christy, and maybe you could provide a little insight. Is there a cost to the program itself? And do you need a Makerbot to participate? Can you provide a little more, a few more details on that, Kylie?
Yeah, so there is a cost if you're wanting it, the certification by itself. There is a cost to it. You can get one license for $99, or you can get a classroom for $500, or for a school site license that's unlimited. So if you have 4,000 students and teachers total in a building, that would be $800. And you don't need to have a Makerbot. Even if you have another, different type of 3D printer, this is still very helpful. So regardless of which printer you have, it'll definitely be resourceful to you. Absolutely. But it does come with the sketch classroom and the sketch lounge.
Okay, great. I've been bouncing around on the website while you were giving your presentation, and there's a lot of really great information there. So folks, check out makerbot.com. There's an educator's guidebook there that you can download for free. I'm assuming, Kylie, I haven't looked at it myself, but I'm assuming there's a lot of information that can be utilized whether you have a Makerbot or not there, right? Would that be
Yes,
a safe
absolutely.
assumption?
Yep. Absolutely.
Matt, there's another question Christy's asking.
There we go. Hi. Okay, Christy, is it a year-long subscription? Kylie?
Yes, it is a year-long subscription. We do have a 2-year and a 3-year as well.
Okay, you're welcome, Christy. Thanks for joining us today. Well, seeing no other questions, it's probably about time to wrap things up. For right now, we'd like to thank Kylie, and Kylie has shared with us a document. I will put a link to resources that Kylie has shared with us that support her presentation and her video in the video description on our YouTube channel. So once again, Kylie Cantu from Makerbot, we greatly appreciate your time today, and we will look forward to learning more about 3D printer certifications again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And thanks to everyone who's joined us.